Distance education has made learning more accessible to women all over the world. In 2015, distance learners exceeded 6 million, with women accounting for more than half. The flexible and open nature of distance platforms allow women to overcome many of the barriers that traditionally restricted their access to education. That's not to say that gender-based barriers to learning don't exist within a distance education framework. Distance learning comes with its own idiosyncrasies that continue to perpetuate current male-centered educational pedagogies. For distance education practitioners, the broader areas of issue that create individual challenges for women revolve around technology, cultural gender expectations, and the challenges female educators face. Content and curriculum development of a program is a political process. What course materials an educator decides to include in a course has much impact as what he or she does not include. Given the plethora of information available in today's world of technology and internet, how do feminist educators make sure that distance learners, especially females, are provided with appropriate content inclusive of their needs? This is the story of women who are part of a distance learning experience. They each face challenges unique to their own lives, but ones that are related through shared, broader gender-related issues. The barriers to education these women come up against can be minimized through the inclusion of feminist pedagogy into their distance curriculum and content. This is Sadie. Sadie is a professor of women's studies at an open online university who brings her own unique set of experiences, knowledge, and cultural influence to her role as a distance educator. She is faced with the daunting challenge of incorporating the diverse needs and experiences of her female learning audience into the content and curriculum of her distance learning programs. To design distance programs for her primarily female learning audience, Sadie uses strategies to develop an inclusive curriculum that is sensitive to the needs of female learners and includes experiences relevant to their diverse contexts. She uses teaching styles that create a safe environment for her students, where transformative discussions can take place and traditionally silenced voices are encouraged to speak out. To build a successful feminist classroom in an online environment, Sadie includes the following 3 considerations into her course content build and curriculum design. First, Sadie uses curriculum that is both gender and culturally sensitive and reflective of the broad and localized experiences of women. Second, she includes marginalized voices in gender discussions, course readings, and learning activities through the sharing of diverse personal experiences. And third, she plans interactive learning activities and collaborative projects to satisfy women's desire to have social interaction with peers included in their distance learning experience. This is Allison. She is enrolled in one of Sadie's courses this semester. Allison is from Canada. She has a full-time career, is a wife, and mother of 3 young children who's currently completing her master's degree online. Allison's challenges revolve around a lack of confidence with technology and time management struggles. Her barrier to technology stems from a lack of confidence with the digital libraries her university makes available. She finds them difficult to navigate due to a complex user interface. This makes her reluctant to take advantage of this educational resource available to her. To help Allison with this barrier, when Sadie creates a learning environment, she could ensure that there is sufficient technical assistance for female students to promote their confidence levels. Gender inclusionary program considerations should familiarize women with technology-based student tools and resources. Another addition to combat Allison's lack of confidence could be the introduction of peer-moderated social media platform as a support mechanism. This could incorporate the social learning style women tend to prefer and provide Allison a safe space to ask her peers for assistance. Allison's greatest barrier to distance education is the result of socially constructed responsibilities placed on her around gender. dual expectations on women in Canadian society as the primary source of domestic responsibility and as an equal breadwinner for the family place significant constraints around how much time and energy Allison has to dedicate towards her education. Taking 2 or 3 courses per term would be ideal in helping Allison achieve her goal of completing her program as quickly as possible. But due to the time required to balance her role as mother, wife, friend, daughter, employee, and student, she's limited to 1 course per semester. To reduce Allison's time management barriers, Sadie could modify her distance program framework to be completely self-paced over a 6-month period. This would allow Allison to work ahead as time permits and schedule her course requirements in a more flexible manner than having to work her life around an established 3-month fixed semester structure that currently exists. This is Grace. She lives with her husband and 5 young children in an impoverished rural village in Sudan. Living in a developing nation in which women are culturally oppressed, Grace's issues with distance education are numerous and complex. But much like Allison, they stem from technology and culturally gender-related barriers. Grace's technology challenges come from difficulty accessing and an unfamiliarity with technology. As a child, Grace did not receive a formal education that included the development of fundamental technology and literacy-based skills. This results in a lack of skill set and confidence. Her remote geographic location makes internet access very difficult. To get to the nearest resource center with a computer, to access her course content or submit an assignment, she must walk for almost a day. This journey takes her away from her domestic responsibilities, and alternative transportation is not easily available. How can Sadie make it easier for Grace to be a distance learner? Some possible strategies could include building an alternate version of the course that uses more traditional, paper-based correspondence-style learning activities and resources. This would reduce or remove Grace's need to access technology to be successful as a distance learner. To make technology work for Grace rather than against her, changing the platform to a wireless one could provide a solution. Empowering women with knowledge in remote and rural areas where internet access is unavailable could be accomplished by connecting them via text, so they can exchange experiences and ideas while simultaneously building their literacy and technology-based skill set in a safe environment. Culturally, Grace does not enjoy the same societal freedoms that Allison does living in Canada. Her husband and community do not understand her desire for something of her own outside the role of being wife and mother, and she's looked down upon for not focusing all of her time and energy into the well-being and survival of her family. The lack of support from her husband and his unwillingness to watch the children because it's considered women's work makes Grace struggle with feelings of guilt that she's not putting her role as mother first and foremost above all else. To counter the lack of support Grace feels from her community, Sadie could include a text-based chat group comprised of other Sudanese women who are distance learners. This would create a safe space to support and encourage one another, and perhaps, if they live close enough geographically, could even allow these women to arrange a child care co-op program to ensure that their children are being cared for when they need to write exams or travel to the resource center. Building a virtual community of other distance learners that Grace can identify with would be invaluable to her overall success and satisfaction as a distance learner. Distance education platforms open doors for many women. However, current pedagogical approaches do not allow all women through that door with equal possibility and ease. Gender-inclusive content and curriculum works toward leveling the playing field, not just between men and women, but amongst diverse groups of women as well. Socially and culturally constructed ideas around gender, motherhood, and femininity are built upon a framework constructed by men for the continued benefit of men. For practitioners like Sadie, increasing program flexibility, the inclusion of social supports, and using learning materials reflective of women's experiences, both broad and marginalized, all work toward changing the framework women learn within. Continued efforts to reform current educational pedagogies to include a feminist perspective will one day provide Allison and Grace an equal, relatable, and easily accessible distance education experience.